Here are today's episode highlights.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Are you excited about today's combo?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes,
Yes. We have a fifth comadre today, and she is an expert that is going to help us reconnect with our desires. I'm already getting hot. In the room, Rena Martine.
Yay! Welcome, Reena. Yeah. Shame. Religious, cultural shame. We're all Latinas. I can speak for myself that, sex was not talked about in my home, ever.
We're 40 and 50, and we still are afraid to talk about sex.
Well, because no one's teaching us how to do it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? It's something so natural and normal.
Bringing a third person in and all that stuff. I always say it's not for me. I would never do that.
I can't make her orgasm the normal way.
What is the normal way?
And that's what I asked him. I said, okay, please tell me what the normal way is.
How do you tell them that he is not doing a good job? Right?
Or talk about those fun things that happened, those memories, those really fun memories. And
Remember when we were 20?
remember when we first started dating?
Because you can have intimacy without sex. And you
Exactly.
can have sex without intimacy.
I like mood light.
Moonlight.
I think mood lighting is very nice. And
Yeah.
I heard that if you use red light,
Okay, that I've never
like the
used.
strip club.
That I've never
It
done.
really-
Damn. Finding your sexy, right?
Yeah.
Like going back to finding your sexy and whatever that is for you. Some women might have to dress up and, do the whole gamut, especially as Latinas.
Men want it all the time, all the time, all the time. No, I've encountered some tired men as well.
I do feel like
I have
men
more energy.
want it more. I feel like they're always ready.
Yeah.
I feel like men are
I'm always ready. And I'm a girl.
Fake the orgasm or whatever, just to get it over with.
get it
Like,
over
oh,
with.
great. Okay,
Like
wonderful.
now I laugh,
Done.
but many nights I'd be like reading my book.
Buy some lube, friends. Just have it.
For him, for you, for
Everyone.
us.
Yeah, have you ever tried giving a hand job without lube? It's not fun. All right, get your phone out. You're going to send a text to your partner right now and be like, hey, do you want to play hide and seek?
RG, do it.
Ooh.
Do it, RG.
yes.
Men are always ready. Men are always ready.
And that's fun. I mean,
love
this is
it.
play, right?
Oh, he's still typing.
Hey girl, welcome. We've been waiting for you.
Bienvenida. We are four comadres, and we are so excited to have you here. I am Argelia.
I am Mindy.
I am Diana.
And I'm Janet.
This is Comadres Unfiltered. Salud!
Cheers to all.
Cheers to us. Cheers to our subscribers, to our comadritas watching, listening. And cheers to Diana, whose birthday's coming up.
Happy birthday, Di.
Literally,
It's
this
coming.
episode is airing, right? Because we're going to celebrate your birthday soon.
Yes.
And your
In a few
wish
more
has come
days.
true. We will talk about that wish in a bit. But salud, comadrita. You look hotter than ever.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, babe.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, girls.
salud.
Thank you, comadre.
Are you excited about today's combo?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes! Say it, girl. Louder.
Yes.
Louder,
Yes.
louder.
Yes, comadritas, if you're listening or
getting
watching,
started.
today, this episode is about keeping it real, raw, and shame-free. We're going to let loose in a very, it could be risque for some, but in the best way possible.
And this
wanna
is
make people
definitely,
blush.
Yeah.
And if you have children in the room, get them out.
Yes.
No,
yes.
no kids. Put your AirPods in, tune it down. Yeah. No
Not
kids. This
suitable
is a
for
no
work.
kids episode.
I like that disclaimer.
NSFW.
I like that disclaimer because sometimes
Little
my
warning.
girls listen to episodes in the car.
Yes.
So this one will be one like, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
This is not for you yet.
Not
but,
ready.
Yeah.
but talking about age, so we're diving into a topic that many as women shy away from, including myself. I will admit, I don't really talk about this publicly on my radio show ever. I don't think I ever talked about this on my radio show, and it's been more than 20 years with Omar.
It would be inappropriate.
It would be
right? Little.
it would be uncomfortable because
Uncomfortable.
that's how it is in society sometimes, especially in our culture, right? Latin. Like if my mom listens and I'm talking about this topic on the radio, she'll be like, Jesus Maria Jose Argelia, like what you doing, But we need to get over that. We absolutely need to talk about what we want. And when I say what we want is what we want in our sex life, in the bedroom, in our 40s, in our 50s, and beyond. I am 50 now. I can give a F of what people think now. And we're going to talk about, why don't we just sing it? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Let's talk about. Okay. Oh, sorry. Are we done?
We're done. But today, we're like, Dee, what do you want to talk about for your birthday episode? And I'm so happy. And you know what? I applaud you for fighting for this topic about, let's talk about sex.
Yes,
you know,
sex.
it's time.
Everybody's having it.
Yes.
People enjoy it. Well, for the most part.
For the most part.
And I mean, that's how we all got here, right?
Yes, exactly. That's why we're here.
Yes.
But one thing is talk about sex just to talk about it, but another thing is to learn and be inspired and be empowered. And that's what this episode's all about. Absolutely. So in order to achieve that goal, we have a fifth comadre today, and she is an expert that is going to help us reconnect with our desires. I'm already getting hot. and when I talk about desires, girls, I talk about not just mind and soul, but like body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like satisfying our physical needs. I mean, God made this body for a reason. So that expert that's going to help us reconnect, she's actually a women's intimacy coach. She's a speaker, and she's the author of this wonderful book that is hot. It's called The Sex You Want, A Shameless Journey to Deep Intimacy, Honest Pleasure, and a Life You Love.
Yes.
So let's
I love
welcome
that.
our fifth comadre in the room, Rena Martine.
Yay! Welcome, Reena.
Yeah.
Cheers to you. Salud, amiga. That's how we say it in Espanol.
That's right.
Salud. Salud.
We're going to have a lot of fun today.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Oh, talk about everything steamy.
What do you think so far?
Everything.
Oh, so far so good.
Long overdue, right?
Very much.
I mean, we're 40 and 50, and we still are afraid to talk about sex.
Well, because no one's teaching us how to do it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? It's something so natural and normal, but we...
I mean, we could spend an hour talking about why we're not being taught how to talk about it. But if you think about it, when it comes to women, right? The clitoris. I'm going to go there just like right away, right?
Let's go to the clitoris.
But it's the only part of the human body whose sole purpose is pleasure. And so I remind folks when you're like, well, it's bad to talk about. I'm like, your body would not have been made with a part that serves no other biological function than making you feel good.
Yeah.
And so why is it that we have such a hard time talking about this thing? And I am hoping that I can play a small role in creating a world where we talk about sex in the same way we talk about food, right? Because food is something we all do. We're all eating.
Yeah,
and it brings us pleasure too.
Yes.
And so just normalizing these conversations, and we normalize them by having them. And so that's what we're doing today, ladies.
Yes.
We're part of the solution, right?
I
here.
love that. You know,
Let's turn food into something sexy.
Yes.
Let's talk more about it, which we do. Sometimes
Which
we do.
we do.
Oh, yes.
Right?
But we're going to be brutally honest. I mean, many of us have been in long-term relationships. I'm about to celebrate 18 years of marriage, you
Congrats.
know? And thank you very much. And we're juggling motherhood. We're juggling perimenopause
Yes.
and menopause.
Same girl.
Right.
We're juggling our careers, all while we're also adapting to our bodies evolving and changing with age. You know, things begin to fall, gravity takes place, and we look at ourselves in the mirror, and we're even nervous and embarrassed to look at our bodies. But at the same time, we begin to question, like, okay, why don't I desire sex like before, like when I was in my 20s?
Speak for yourself.
Right? Well, for me, yes. That's for me and for many women.
You're right.
A lot of us want to. Trust me, Diana, we want to.
Yes.
And once we have it, we're like, oh, I need more of this.
Yes.
But it just takes so much time.
It's
and
the getting there.
Yes, that's what.
getting there.
But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But before we get to all those questions, because we have so many questions from all the comadres here and the subscribers as well, we want to start with your journey, because this is what intrigues us the most. Like, how do you, Rena Martine, go from deputy district attorney specializing in, get this, sex crimes in Los Angeles, to now helping women like us and many thousands of women, help them fall in love with their bodies and to enjoy shameless sex.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get that juice.
All right.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
let's go there.
Let's buckle up. Okay. So I was, as you mentioned, a prosecutor with LA County. I did that for a total of 14 years. Wow. And my dream was to be a sex crimes prosecutor. That's why I became a lawyer. That's why, I interned at the DA's office. And I was fortunate enough to land my dream role pretty quickly after I was hired at the ripe age of 25 years old.
Wow.
Well, that's young.
Isn't that wild?
25.
That is
Yeah,
incredible.
25. And about a decade in, I saw something strange happening with juries when it came to sex cases. It just became a job and not a calling. And simultaneously-ish, I was going through my own personal transformation. I was married at the time and felt really unsatisfied.
Okay.
And I was going through therapy and being like, you've got to fix me. I should be so happy in this very stable, loving, conventional white picket fence kind of life.
Okay.
What is wrong with me that I can't just like get with the program? And it's just that I'm not wired for that. And so I kind of dropped this bomb in my personal life, left my marriage, started having a lot of adventures, which I talk about in my book.
Wild adventures.
Oh yeah, wild adventures. Yeah. And I reached a point where I thought to myself, what if I could help women do what my therapist had helped me do? Because I felt like I had this new lease on life. And so I got a coaching certification, and it turned out there was a demand for this type of thing. And I haven't really looked back since.
Wow, that's amazing. What a journey.
Yes.
So to go through your own journey, and then what steps led you to become a coach?
I want to help women. If I could help one woman the way my therapist had helped me. And so I started looking into graduate school programs, hey, I'll go back to school, become a therapist part-time while working at the DA's office in the hopes that once I turn 50, start collecting my pension, I could just roll into a whole new career.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit. And after I had baked all the bread and watched all the TV, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to spend nearly a decade getting this training and becoming a therapist. What if there was a way that I could start working with people sooner?
Directly.
Exactly.
One-on-ones.
Exactly. I felt really, truly alive for the first time. And I thought, can I bottle this feeling and give it to women? And so the way I coach is really born from that. This idea that, shame holds us back in so many different parts of our lives.
What are some of the things that women are coming to you for? Is it just sex? What do you, like a first session with you, how does that start?
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say that the majority of my clients, so I primarily work with women one-on-one and occasionally with couples and very occasionally with men. But I would say the majority of my female one-on-one clients fall into one of four buckets. One is I have a history of abuse or assault, and it's impacted my sex life. And that could happen in a variety of ways. But because of my background as a prosecutor, a not insignificant amount of my clients have some sort of history. So that would be one. Another would be, I've been in this marriage or relationship for a really long time, and we've lost the spark. Or maybe, now that I'm looking back on it, was the spark really ever there? And can we cultivate it? So that would be another bucket. A third is, you know what? I'm a badass. I got my whole life figured out. And these are a lot of very high-performing women. But the things that make me good at my job, this tough exterior, once I bring them home, they're ruining either my relationships or my ability to date. So with those kinds of folks, it's really encouraging vulnerability, softening a lot. So that would be the third bucket. And the fourth is people who are like, you know what, I just got out of a breakup and I'm seeing that the lowest common denominator is me. And I want to figure out why the heck do I keep dating these chumps? Oh, gosh. Right? How do I break this cycle? So I would say about 80% of the folks I work with fall into one of those four buckets. But every woman's going to be unique. The first homework exercise that I discuss in my book, it's called the 27 things. So you asked,
yes,
what does a first session with me look like?
Yes.
That homework assignment, I have every client do before our first session.
I think so many people have so many questions, especially about fantasies.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to cross the line, or at least most of us don't. We want to follow the rules, especially with marriage, one partner, monogamy, the whole thing. That's, I think, one of the subjects that intrigues me the most, because I see it all around me, like the people bringing a third person in and all that stuff. And I always say it's not for me. I would never do that because I couldn't bear seeing my partner with someone else, especially if there's a history there of a solid relationship and you love them so much, to see them with someone else, right? But I wanted to ask about that. Is that prevalent? Do people always come with those types of questions for you?
Okay, I'm glad that you're bringing up sexual fantasies because it is one of my most favorite topics to talk about, like just generally when it comes to sex, because there's such fascinating research about our fantasies.
Right.
But multiple partner fantasies, I think that and BDSM top the list of what people fantasize about.
What is BDSM?
Oh, okay, so kink. 50 Shades. For anyone who's like, what is BDSM? 50 Shades. Do not take that as the gold standard of how to do BDSM. It is not very good for that. But if you think about it, that movie, the book, was the highest selling book of the last decade.
You got to ask yourself why.
Why?
Because there's a demand and there's an interest and the curiosity is there. We all want to. We think about it, but we just don't want to talk about it. Oh, we don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean, I
thing.
look at those theaters. They were packed.
Oh,
What
yes.
were women doing?
With
Let's have a
women.
girls' night out and go watch the
Didn't
movie.
we
Like
do
some,
one?
some
Janet
type
and
of
I did.
sexual
We
event.
I was feeding my child and flipping through the books.
We went to the movies.
We did. We
had
went
like
to
a
this-
big
yeah,
group
we
of
did, we
girls.
did.
and we
Same
had
here.
movies.
We all
Yes.
got our
Here.
girls
Yes.
together, and we were all going, ooh, like when we were watching some of the scenes.
Yes.
It's almost like, oh no, I wouldn't do that, but oh my God.
Oh, yes.
Oh, is he really going to spank her? Really? And then like
handcuffs.
Like
and
I always wonder what's really going on in those minds, right?
Well, I will tell you my hot take, and this is
Yes.
supported by research too. So
Right.
the things that we fantasize about, they are filling a deeper emotional need we have. So here's the example.
Okay.
In a time where we as women are having to make more decisions than we ever have, as business owners, as partners, as mothers, I mean, keep going on and on and on. It would make sense that what we are fantasizing about is giving up some of that control. We want someone else to make the damn decision.
Take the lead.
Take the lead. And so we are seeing year after year more women having these fantasies. And when that book came out, when the movie came out, it really touched something. Something that I don't think many people realized was there.
But that movie, that book, I mean, whatever you read first or saw the
Yes.
movie, it did do something. Because I don't know about the girls here, but my husband was happy when the second one came out because he knew that when I came back from the movies with my girlfriends, he knew he was going to be pinned down.
And even we've talked about Bridgerton.
Yes.
Like watching Bridgerton
Right.
and
Those
how hot
scenes.
and sexy that is. I remember you talking about that. It is
Yes.
hot
Yeah.
And I mean, part of
sexy.
it, I think you touch on two things. One is how our desire works or how it works for most women. But the other is this idea of permission. I feel like the movie, the book, it gave us permission to do this thing that maybe a lot of us had been thinking about. Or when we saw it, we're like, ooh, that's pretty hot.
It just became more mainstream.
Yeah.
Right? I think something that we don't talk about, something we didn't talk about, and a lot of women were exposed to these romance books, right? But a lot of women weren't. And this was their first, introduction into the romance novel. Whether
that
it was
romance?
super, yeah, it is. It's like super
erotica.
spicy,
It's
erotica.
erotica.
Yeah.
It's
But it's romantic.
5 spice, romance.
Yeah.
But
I would
Especially
say.
when you have a hot guy like that.
yeah, no, and it made it a little bit more mainstream. It made it into R and not X17 or whatever it is. And so it was in theaters, and we were able to get teases from it and the trailers, and it was in our line of sight. Oh, and I am sure they targeted moms, new moms too,
Oh, yes.
and so
Oh, yeah.
all of a sudden, every woman around you knew about this movie too, and it became something that we talked about when we
Yes.
got together.
It was mainstream.
Yes.
You're right. And
Yeah.
something you talk about in your book is about shame. Religious, cultural shame. We're all Latinas. I can speak for myself that sex was not talked about in my home, ever. And, it was kind of like, you're gonna get married and you're gonna be a virgin when you get married. And that's something that you bring up in your book that a lot of women don't express or don't talk
explore.
about these sexual
explore them.
I
fantasies.
love your
and stuff.
observation because I can talk about sex with these girls.
Yes.
But I can't talk about sex with my sisters or with my mom. Like, I know that my little sister right now is listening to this episode and she's probably cringy. It takes, I think, like a safe space and a safe group of people to be able to let loose. Because it's very
Absolutely.
intimate to talk about your
Absolutely.
sex life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that's an intimate part.
Absolutely. But then the flip side of this is like, welcome to my world where people think that they have this like open invitation to tell me every gory detail about their lives. I swear to you. I'm like, my DMs, and it's not even, creeps in my DMs. People who like I know who are like, hey, do you want to see these photos of? I'm like, no, you got to ask for permission. Ask me permission, guys. Like,
Did I do it right?
I took some photos last night. Tell me that.
Ask for consent before you start giving me like your erotic story of what happened the night before. Like, yes, I'm not just like a blank canvas for everybody to throw their paint onto.
And what's the biggest issue out there that you see? Since you talk to so many people, couples, singles, all that, what is like the number one or the top three that you see?
I would say the question I probably get most often is, hey, Reena, it's some variation of, hey, Reena, I'm trying to orgasm the normal way. And I can't figure out how to do it. I actually had a consultation with a man a few weeks ago who was saying, my wife, I can't make her orgasm the normal way.
What is the normal way?
And that's what I asked him. I said, okay, please tell me what the normal way is. And he said, well, she needs a vibrator because, if we're having intercourse, it doesn't happen.
Oh, she needs warming up. She needs to be like, caressed.
So, I had to give him a little science lesson. I'm like, something 80 to 85%, depending on which study you read, of women cannot orgasm just through penetration alone. We need some sort of external clitoral stimulation. Thing is, if we're even getting sex ed in schools, luckily in California, we're faring better than most of the states in the country, but there's typically no discussion of pleasure whatsoever. We talk about the anatomy, but we're not talking about the clitoris, right?
Right.
And so, because it has no function in reproduction, so why would we talk about it? We don't need it in terms of safe sex discussions or, pregnancy discussions. And if we just spent 5 minutes teaching folks what I just told you, that most of our pleasure is going to come from the outside, it would alleviate so much shame for both men and women, because women are shaming themselves like, what's wrong with me? I'm broken. I'm faking orgasms because I should be able to do it this way. And men are like, well, if I can't make her do it that way, there's something wrong with me. And it's this kind of vicious cycle. And I just want to be like, hello, like 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes of your time. Let me show you a diagram here. So that's probably the biggest one I get.
Oh, wow.
And it's just such a basic
Pleasure,
anatomy.
orgasms. Yeah, that's
But
it.
that is so sad for women to fake it. Like, why? When it is the most amazing, what don't they call it? Like the mini death? They call
Le
it
petit mort.
Yes. Like
little death in French,
you literally are transitioning into some other dimension. It's why, why fake it? So my question for you is, if women have the comfort to come to you and be intimate with you with their, personal stories, why is it so hard to come to their partners and open up about their personal desires? Anybody can have sex.
Yes.
But intimacy?
Yes.
Like intimacy
There is a
is, there are people that have sex with lights off and never see their beautiful bodies because they can't even see the bodies. So how can you have your body become one, but yet you cannot open up completely to your partner? Like, that's something I've never understood.
Yeah. Going back to no one's teaching us how to talk about sex, no one's really teaching us how to have good communication within our relationships,
I think
right?
that's where it is. Yeah.
Like, we're learning about algebra in high school. We're not learning anything about open and vulnerable communication.
If a woman is not having an orgasm with her partner, what would you advise them how to talk to their partner about opening up to them?
Yeah, sure. So I always tell folks, okay, how are you doing it on your own? Right? If it's like, well, I've tried this with my partner, it's not working. Okay, what's the thing you're doing on your own that already works?
When you say on your own, you mean like
Masturbation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be, well, I normally use my finger or I bring a toy in. And so if you already know that thing works, let's try to replicate that with another person. But how do you have that really scary conversation? Oh my gosh. So there are a few ways to do it.
How do you tell him that he is not doing a good job? Right?
Well, okay. So I think I think it's all about the delivery. Instead of saying, you know, I stop turning left. It's I love it when you turn right. Right? Say your spouse makes, you know, tacos all the time, and you're like, I like your tacos, but hey, do you want to try this new recipe?
Yes.
So I like the phrase, hey, you know what might be fun to try? I talk about that in my book. Hey, you know what might be fun to try? What if we actually set a timer and we can't do penetration for the first 20 minutes, right?
Wow.
What if we go toy shopping together? Oh my gosh. And you get to pick out one thing and I get to pick out one thing. You know what might be fun to try? Because that way it's
That
not
could be scary too.
It could
It's
be.
like, oh, why is he grabbing that mask with those nipple clips?
Why is she getting that big dildo?
What is she trying to tell me, right?
I would be so scared. Like, whoa, hold
so
on a
here's
second.
one thing. There's a couple I'm working with right now. And what they did actually is they went to the store and each of them picked out 3 things they were intrigued by. And then the partner picked for the other partner.
Oh.
So the woman had her husband's 3 things that he wanted to try, and she picked the one that appealed to her the most. And so, right, so you know that whatever ends up in that bedroom is 2 things that you're both on board for.
Oh, great. That's safe.
That's good advice for some people who have not been to a sex shop before.
Yeah.
But I've never really felt the need. Honestly, I gotta say, I've never really felt the need.
Or you don't know what really good sex is.
I can't complain. I cannot complain. I'm happy.
Satisfied.
My only complaint is frequency. But once I'm in it or we're in it,
You're in it to win it.
yes. I mean, I don't need an extra something. I just don't.
Yeah.
Maybe if I wasn't satisfied,
Yeah.
I would be looking for that assistance.
Well, I guess, but maybe we could reframe this. Instead of a need, right? It can
Explore.
just be like for fun.
For fun.
You're like, yeah, I'm happy with your cooking. I don't need to go to a restaurant, but it's fun to mix it up every once in a while. This is an activity you're doing together. Like sex is meant to be fun, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And relaxing.
And it's not a chore.
It shouldn't feel like a chore.
shouldn't feel like a chore.
It shouldn't feel ever like a chore. If it ever does get to feel like a chore, then that's like a red flag right there, I feel.
I mean, service sex is gonna happen.
Like the quickies, you mean?
It is.
Yeah,
Like
or
a
like
quickie is
someone's in the mood and you're not. You're like, you know what?
Okay, let's get it over
You're
with.
craving
Yes.
tacos. I'm
Let me just
craving
lay here.
lasagna. But hey, let's get tacos tonight because I know
I do
you're
say
really
you
craving
never
it.
regret once it happens, right?
But you know
don't
what?
regret it.
But
going to the
quickies, quickies.
Yeah, so Jim.
I'm gonna say quickies. I never enjoy. I don't enjoy quickies.
I don't enjoy makeup sex.
I don't enjoy quickies.
Me either.
But,
I don't like
But
makeup
I
sex.
enjoy seeing him being enjoyed because
Right.
I feel like okay,
Yeah.
that's gonna keep him happy for a day.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I'm not saying I'm going to always abide by that, but once in a while I'll be like, oh, there's a drought going on. Okay, let's get the quickie out of the way.
Yeah.
And then, but then I'm a whole process girl. Like I need to do the lingerie. I need to like feel clean. And I feel like we both, I know it's going to sound bad. Like we both earned it. Like this is our reward.
Yeah.
Like you worked so hard today. I worked so hard today. Let's reward each other.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. And it's more of a,
Beautiful.
that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
good.
a treat.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one's going to enjoy sex if you view it as a chore, period, as you
Right.
said.
And so many women
Yes.
just
Or you need to make
that
time
way.
for it. We've talked about this before, that sometimes the routine gets in the way.
Mommyhood.
right? And it's not the quickie. I think it's just making it's not even making a chore, but making time to connect. And so I've talked about going out to dates, right? Making time, dressing up, like you're talking about, dressing up, having meaningful conversations. And every time we're on dates, our rule is, talk about our dreams or talk about those fun things that happened, those memories, those really fun memories. And
Remember when we were 20?
remember when we first started dating?
When we would come back from the club and you'd throw me against
Yes.
the wall and wow, like let's do that again.
Start remembering those things. So I think, as much as our daily routines and kids and work get in the way, you kind of have to make a pause. And for me, at least, it's all about those moments of intimacy throughout the day, whether it's him bringing me breakfast or, just hugging on our way to the kitchen, and always constantly touching, even if it's it doesn't materialize into like a late night, but it's over time, like you're still having that connection. And that's important too.
So important. And Esther Perel, she's an author. She's given TED Talks and
love her.
We love her, right?
Love her.
Yeah.
But she says that foreplay starts the second your last sexual encounter ends. And to your point, right? Like moments throughout the day, text to one another. It's what's happening in between and before you get into the bedroom, especially for women, because most of us have responsive desire, meaning that something has to get us in the mood. We don't just walk around thinking about sex, which would be spontaneous
Quickies
desire.
are not good. That's right. Quickies for us, they get the quickie. It takes 20 minutes, I heard, after reading it to build us up.
Oh, well,
that's what I heard on the
Well, I read a book from Paulo Coelho, and according to him, it takes 11 minutes for the whole
Okay, I just
process
read
to be
20.
fantastic for the women.
So what is it? Is it
I mean,
in the
it
middle,
can
or-
take anywhere.
For a female.
It's like 11 to 40 minutes.
Wow.
It depends on the person.
Wow.
Yeah.
It depends on the person. It depends what
Depends on his
what you're
tongue.
using.
No.
too. Yeah. It depends what
quick
you're
is he? No.
That
How
too.
quick tongue is he? No, I'm kidding.
And so,
And
but
how long can he last? That's the other thing. I mean,
Does he get tongue tied?
well, and that's why toys can be great for
I
that
love Reena
too.
looking at Mindy.
Yes.
Go
Looking
on,
at Mindy. I know. I'm like,
Jenny was so
Super
nervous
fruit cheeky
about
over
doing
here.
this topic that yesterday when we had our meeting, she had a baseball cap on, and I come onto the Zoom, and she's like, "Di, I'm really nervous about this topic," and she pulled her hat down even lower. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's
Why?
so natural,
yeah.
it's
I think-
fun. It is like we
I
should
think there are
all
a lot
talk
of
about
women,
sex."
but I think there are a lot of women that probably feel the way I do. Like there are a lot of women that also feel that way. That I feel like Argelia. I feel very satisfied. I have a great communication with my husband. I think we have great intimate moments and throughout the day, like I'm talking about, like we're very respectful. But I do respect that part of my life, and so I like to talk about generalities, but I don't talk about my personal life, and so that's what makes me. But like I listen to it, and we've had conversations where we talk about this stuff. But for women at home that maybe are a little bit more conservative and that maybe don't like to. It's not necessarily talk about it, but there are other things that they maybe want to know more about, right? That they're fine, but maybe, hey, you know what? Like maybe try something different, or maybe I don't know if I want to go. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing is sharing your own personal life
Yes.
to the public. That's
Yeah.
Most people don't like to do that.
Right.
But we can talk openly
Yes.
Right.
about all the subjects. Things that I'm
Absolutely.
not even going through.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody might have that question.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
we have a microphone, so
Yeah.
we can actually ask those questions that we've heard from other women.
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily about us in particular.
Right.
See, but a word
Right.
came up a lot in our meeting, our production meeting, and I think it's a
Yeah.
great word to bring up. So the word raunchy came up like 3 times. Like, but we want to make sure that this episode is not raunchy. And so my question for you is, why when we think of sex talk, we think of, it's going to be raunchy? I mean, that's giving a bad rep to sex. But
Yeah, you're right.
We make it dirty.
We
when
make
it
it's
should be
our
normal.
mind.
You're right, and
that's
that was
making
part of the
And
conversation.
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Maybe just
Yes.
switch it to risque, but in a beautiful way, but not raunchy. Because raunchy to me is dirty, and sex isn't dirty, depending on the situation.
Well, yeah.
right.
It can be.
Literally.
yeah, it can.
I mean, listen, we're not talking about really explicit like
Exactly.
Right.
I won't even say it. I'm not going to go to the raunchy place, but I think because when we think about pornography and that kind of stuff, we think of sex as being like this kind of dirty thing, and we're learning about sex, but we're not learning about intimacy, right?
Which is the topic that we want to discuss.
Exactly.
The difference between sex, intimacy, and how to be more intimate with our partners.
You can because you can have intimacy without sex, and you
Exactly.
can have sex without intimacy. And where I feel like most of the work I do is in that sweet spot of sexual intimacy, which is, as we've touched on, it's showing up in the bedroom, it's speaking up for yourself, it's having sex with the lights on. It doesn't have to be like full daytime, all the curtains are open, but building towards that. And so
some kind of glow light or something, like, because I know that a lot of people, the reason they turn the lights off is because they're not confident about their bodies.
Yes, and that's something else that she
They
brings up
gained
in
a
her
couple
book.
pounds. You don't want to see it, and you don't
Sure.
want to like discuss or you think you're going to discuss your partner,
Right.
like, or maybe like, let's dim the lights. But to me, it is sexier to have the lights on.
Like full on.
I think
I like dim. Like I need to see the moon, you know. Like I need to
Yeah.
see the light from the street. I need to see the shadow. I need to see
Yeah.
like the like
Well, okay, so it's a
something.
little
I need
dark.
to see us.
Yeah.
Because then I'm too
Shadow?
dark. Like, where are you? You know, like I feel like I'm in a
So
cave.
you like the shadowy.
I love
Yeah.
shadow.
You love
I don't like light. I don't like dark. I need to see.
I like moonlight.
Moonlight,
I think
yeah.
moonlighting is very nice, and
Yeah.
I heard that if you use red light,
Okay, that I've never
like the
used.
strip club.
That I've never
It
done.
really-
Oh, damn.
That reminds me of the red zone
they
in
use
Amsterdam.
red, a lot of red shades or pink shades in the strip clubs. I heard that it's because it softens the edges and it perfects your skin.
I was just gonna
So
say,
like
you look
cellulite
better.
or anything. So if anybody out there wants to like have a little more light, like try some red light or pink.
So not your disco light that you have.
Oh, that's different there. That would add a little party to it.
Right?
But yes.
But you know what? You touched, Mindy, on something, and I think it's confidence in your body. I think that is something that we all need to work on, right? If you have any insecurities,
Yes.
part of communicating what you want is being insecure in who you are, because you can't ask for anything that you don't feel comfortable with yourself. And so I think you probably have a lot of women that feel like I don't feel secure within myself to show myself to my partner.
And that's an irony because he's touching you.
Right.
He's feeling you. He wants to be with you regardless. So it's all in our head, I think.
Especially when you first
Yeah.
start dating, right? What do you say to those women?
Well, first, let's have some perspective here. Let's be real. I could be wrong here, but the people who y'all are married to or in relationships with, I'm sure were not dating porn stars before they got into a relationship with you, right? You think they're dating tens? Like, what are they expecting, right?
Right.
And if you think back to, okay, who are some of the best lovers I've ever had? Did any of them have perfect bodies? Probably not. But was it sexy because they felt confident in their own skin? That's hot, right? And so, okay, how do we get there? There's a whole process that I tell folks to use. One is start by looking at yourself naked in the mirror once a day for the next week and just write down one thing that you see that you like. One thing. It doesn't have to be boob. You know, it can be. I use this example.
My
often.
earlobe. I'm kidding.
I have nice cuticle beds. I had a client who wrote that because we have so many messages that we're being bombarded with on a daily basis, telling us buy this, fix that. Right? If we were to wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm good. I'm good with how I look.
I look good.
It would
Feel good.
crumble capitalism,
That is so true.
literally, because
Oh, yeah.
we wouldn't need to buy as much shit.
That's right.
So we are, in fact, rebelling against this system that tells us we need to get this procedure done, buy all this stuff. And so you're undoing this lens of, okay, I'm trained by capitalism, by consumerism, to look in the mirror and look for all the things to fix. And so just for a week, look for the things that, like, you know what, I like that about myself. This is a practice. It's not a one and done. But really understanding how our media consumption really impacts what we think is beautiful. There are a lot of wonderful body positive accounts on socials. So I say, you know, if there's a TV show, if there's an account you follow that makes you feel worse about the way you look, stop watching it. Stop following that account. Replace it with other stuff. If you're somebody who does like to watch pornography, you can find inclusive pornography with real people who are non-actors, you know, and so just surrounding yourself with people who look more like you, where you can say, oh yeah, that person is sexy. That person is hot. Because right now, mainstream media is telling us you have to look like this in order to be perceived as sexy. And I'm calling BS on that.
Another big topic with a lot of the moms that we know is how to spice up romance, especially when maybe time has gone by. You're getting it less and less. You're very tired.
You kind of become roommates.
You kind of
That
become
roommate
roommates,
feeling.
and how to reintroduce and make it a little bit exciting, right? Instead
Again,
of, because
exciting
sometimes
again.
it becomes mechanical also. Like when you plan, like, okay, with 3 o'clock every day, I'm going to come in here. It's almost too robotic and mechanical. You want to be a little more spontaneous. You do want to plan. Like, for
Like
example, like
schedule.
Janet said,
Yeah, make
date
time.
night. Okay, we're going to have a
Make time
date
for it,
night,
yeah.
have a beautiful dinner, right? But then after the dinner, how to
Spice it up.
Spice it up. How to surprise. And the minute you talk about it, there's something that happens where it's not magic anymore because now you're talking about, you're pointing it out. So now like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I'm tired. What about you? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's this awkwardness, right?
Yeah.
So how should people just dive back in and do something really sexy without even speaking about it? Like maybe preparing that bathtub with some petals for her or doing something for him, little massage or,
Oh, I mean, there's so many ways to skin this proverbial cat, but I think, if you're a man listening to this and you're like, oh, all I got to do is throw some petals in the bathtub, and she's like, that isn't actually the thing I like.
Yes.
Right? That could end up backfiring because it's like, you don't see me at all.
True.
But yeah, how do you get back into this? It's like if you haven't worked out in a year and you're like, yep, I'm going to start going to the gym every single day now and I'm going to work out for 2 hours at a time. No, you set yourself up for success and not failure.
I think that many times it's us women losing our identity. Because think about it, we are wives and we are moms and we're taking care of our parents and we're trying to do everything outside. So I feel like sometimes with all those responsibilities and duties and stresses of life, we forget that we are women and we need to learn to reclaim our sexual identity because that's what makes us alive and vibrant and sexy.
Yeah.
But then I think the issue becomes even more profound when our husbands or partners see us only as the mother of their child or the wife or, my partner in life, but not my mujer,
My muse.
mujer. Yes, my muse.
My sexy
and
muse.
that's where I want to get to. Like, how do we reclaim our sexual identity? Shameless.
Yeah.
Fearless.
Especially in our 40s and 50s,
50s.
and going through perimenopause and menopause for some of our viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a few ways to do this. I always start with, when's the last time you felt sexy? Like, think about it. Okay, what were you wearing? Where were you? Had you gone and, gotten waxed the day before? Like, what were the ingredients that contributed to you feeling that way? Also, I'm going to remind folks, a self-pleasure practice, masturbation, it is important. Orgasms are really, really good for us. They're like nature's free multivitamin that feel good. Anti-aging properties. They lower our cortisol levels. Like the list goes on and on and on. Nature's pain reliever. So, if you
There's so many benefits.
so many benefits.
I wanna
and
talk
not
about
a
that, yes.
single downside. And so, as we're aging, as we're stressed out, all this stuff, like take 5 minutes, or because on our own, it takes us way shorter time than it does with a partner. That the research has confirmed. But if you can take the time to do that as part of your wellness practice, I think that's a good step. Also, go out on dates alone. We talk about couples dates all the time. But I tell folks, especially those who are parents, who've lost that sense of, oh my God, who the hell was I before I became a wife and a mom?
Exactly.
Right.
Go out like once a month. You have your night or day, and you can spend it however the heck you want. Your partner has that too. If he wants to spend it getting stoned and playing video games in the basement, cool. If you want to spend your night going out and dancing, cool. But giving yourself that place alone to find yourself again, because what I'm hearing is I have lost my identity because it's in relation to other people, my kids, my spouse. The best way to reclaim that is just spending time on your own. And I think we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
Completely by yourself.
Yeah.
Not even with friends. Just
I mean, you could. Yeah.
You could, but just
a
you.
lot of us, we have girls' night, right?
Yeah.
Girls' night's important. But
It's so important.
yeah,
It
I
is.
think we don't celebrate solo time as much as we should.
Huh. I've never thought about that.
That is so
But
true.
I love what you just said about finding your sexy, right?
Yeah.
Like going back to finding your sexy and whatever that is for you. Some women might have to dress up and do the whole gamut, especially as Latinas. We like to we like to put on a face and a hair and do the whole thing. But maybe it's just a red lip, or maybe it's maybe it's just shower.
Take a shower.
Yeah,
wash your
maybe
hair
it's
that
just
day.
doing your hair or getting your nails done.
Shaving
or-
those legs, right?
Yeah,
That's a
like
good
all
thing.
these little things
Well, that's
that bring you
self-love.
back to you.
That's self-love,
Yes.
literally. Self-love,
Yeah.
self-care.
But adding those little extra steps, not just some that make you feel well. I like that you said adding those steps that make you feel sexy.
Yeah.
And I
Desirable.
think, yes, I think finding your sexy, especially when you're in a slump, is really important, and spending time finding that sexy back.
Yeah.
It's okay to be alone also. Not lonely, alone.
Do things on your own.
Yes.
Everything that we talked about, you know, it all goes down. It all comes back to confidence. I noticed
Yes.
that. Like everything's connected to confidence and good communication, to be able to tell your partner, and also even if you don't have a partner, just to feel confident in yourself.
Yeah.
But how do you feel confident when you turn 50, like myself, and I know that my libido, my sex drive is not the same as when I was 20 or 30. I mean, I'm still getting my sexy groove on, but it's like not as...
It's not on high.
Exactly.
Right.
So then that can affect my confidence. I begin to think, wait, my body's starting to break down. It's starting to like not want that pleasure. So that plays tricks on my mind, and I think I'm the problem. But what can I do to boost my hormones? Well, besides the hormones patch, which I am on my patch.
Yeah.
And I've seen a difference, by the way.
Yeah.
I've seen a difference with this beautiful patch. Where in the last, when did I start? I said
Like
it here
6
on
months
the podcast.
ago?
Like
Like
November.
6 months ago,
November. Yeah. And I've seen a shift. But, a lot of women don't know that they can get assistance to improve that libido. There is a solution.
There is. And I'm on HRT right now for perimenopause myself.
Okay,
and
there it is. You're on my club.
Yeah, but the amount of advocating we also have to do with our doctors, because some of them, they have thoughts about hormones that are based on science that has now been
Old
debunked.
science.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly. And we're in a progressive state. We're in California, and it's still hard.
I had to fight for mine.
Yeah.
I had to convince my OBGYN.
Right.
And she said, oh, you're just following the trend on social media. I said, no, like I need HRT because I want to save my sex life with my husband. I desire it. I just need help. Like my body's not reacting.
Right.
Totally. And look, things are going to change, right? As we get older, I'm sure that I'm going to guess that your husband, as he gets older, he might want it less too. Like our bodies change and there's a biological reason for that. So understanding that there are hormones at play, and also understanding like we are wired to crave novelty, especially women. I'll share with you a little study that I think is so fascinating. So the bonobos, who are our closest living relatives, the apes, they wanted to test this theory. Like, is it that females just kind of get bored with sex after a while? What's the deal? So they monitored females and males in this enclosure, and after a while the females stopped wanting to mate. And so they thought, well, this goes to show that females just over time they kind of get bored with sex.
Or the person.
Well, they took the males out and they put a whole bunch of new males in there. And all of a sudden, those females were like, let's go.
So see?
Newness.
So do women get bored of the same person? And it works both ways.
No, he didn't throw out the trash. He didn't clean up.
Right.
I'm over it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
That's
there's
what I'm
no-
saying.
Yes.
We don't reward him. I'm not going to give it to him because
Yeah,
he
I'm
didn't
over
do
it.
this, and this. So I'm
They
not
got
going to give it to
divorced
him.
and nobody knew.
Well, and
So what does that say?
Well, it says that we have a desire for novelty.
Yes.
I mean, humans, we do, but for us women, it looks like it's stronger than it is for males.
Wow.
And they talk about men having the 7-year itch. Ours comes about usually at like year 3 or 4, actually. So understand that like this is just kind of how we're wired.
Yeah.
Because those apes, they got no socializing, no conditioning happening. Like this is just what they're doing. And we share like, I think it's 99% of our DNA with them.
And I thought it was the other way around, that the men were getting bored quicker. No, it's the women.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, 50 plus, have even a deeper desire for sex all of a sudden.
Because we give fewer. Can we cuss on this show?
Yes.
Because as you get older, you give fewer fucks. Like that's really what it's about, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I always used to think men want it all the time. No, I've encountered some tired men as well.
I do feel like
I have
men
more energy.
want it more. I feel like they're always ready.
Yeah.
I feel like men are
I'm always ready. And I'm a girl.
And there are a few like D that are always
Yes.
ready. But
See-
I feel like men are always like, they don't need to be showered or cleaned. We can be sweaty and stinky and they don't care. And we are
Yes.
the picky ones.
Right.
We are the.
That's true.
we
I
need
think
to
you know what's
perfect
funny,
things.
that's the way I used to think, like you. Mm-hmm. And then after talking to a lot of girlfriends that are either dating or in like long relationships,
Yeah.
in conversations, I realize that some men do want their women very, very clean.
Well, I'm always clean, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying they don't want it sweaty or no. There's
So there are
I've
men that
discovered-
have their
So
little.
But there's also
particular-
men who will
generalize.
take you as is, and I think that you should take advantage of that. If
Yes.
he wants you in that moment and you're
Yeah.
stinky, but he doesn't
Who cares?
care,
Then
just
do it, right?
Enjoy
You don't have
it
to
in
worry
that
about it.
moment.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I guess you're gonna get dirty
So, yeah,
anyways.
exactly.
Or don't lie. We all pretend.
Yeah.
You know, we fall
I
asleep
think we're all
early
done.
with our kids or
Not me. Not me.
I think there's a lot
I'm
of
like
moms.
the rare. I think I'm a rare breed.
You're a rare breed, and that's why we're having this episode
Yes.
because
You're
of
the
you.
horny breed.
She's a horny
But for
chick.
many years, I pretend I would be asleep
Yeah.
when I'm still not asleep. But I just want to avoid the whole like, not tonight. Like I don't want to hurt his feelings, so
Right.
I'm not gonna hurt him if he thinks I'm asleep.
Sure.
You know. And so I did that for many years. I don't do that anymore. But I did it when the girls were small, and I had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and
Yeah, a lot of moms are touched
I'm like
out
I
too.
don't have
it.
energy. I don't have energy.
I
I'm
think
barely
most
hanging on.
women are somehow
Exhausted.
but also you kind of fake this or fake that to get over with. I hear from all my girlfriends.
Yes.
Like I was laying there, I was tired, just get it over with, and then I had to fake the orgasm or whatever just to get it over with.
get
Like,
it over
oh,
with.
great, okay,
Like
wonderful.
now I laugh,
done.
but many nights I'd be like reading my book. Oh shit, he's hungry.
I hear it coming.
And then he finally lays down, and I need to go to the bathroom. Or I need to like put on my I need to do stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, now I'm here stuck for 20 minutes.
What have I done to myself?
Wait until he snores. Now I can get up and finish. You know, that was me. How pathetic of me. I don't think it was pathetic.
You said something that I think really highlighted a moment when I had my kids. I had kids back to back, and so I was pregnant. I was breastfeeding. I got pregnant 3.5 months into it.
Oh, gosh.
Nathan was 3.5 months
She
when I
had
got
no
pregnant.
break.
Yeah.
And so now
Her sex life
I was
on
pregnant
fire.
again. Girl, I was pregnant again, and then I'm breastfeeding. And you said something to me that somebody told me around that time that made me cry because I think I was feeling, just touched out.
yeah.
I had my kids on me constantly, and I did have a lot of support. But a lot of moms and a lot of women feel like that, like they are giving everything to these little ones, especially when they're little. And they're like, something's wrong with me because I want to spend time with my husband, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's just that guilt, right? Of like, I don't have time for him.
Yeah.
But I want to spend time with him. I don't have time for him. And so when somebody told me, you are touched out and that's why you feel like that. And I was just like, oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And especially when you're giving your body to your child, you're breastfeeding, like you're giving yourself. And because we've been socialized to see sex as like, I'm giving my body to my partner rather than like, seeing it like as a massage, like, oh, this is going to feel really good for me too. But part of it too is like, you're tired. If you have to put in the effort, like the baby has to eat, right?
And sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And so do we.
Right.
But then that, how you mentioned the guilt, because that's what I would feel. I mean, I just didn't have the energy. I didn't have the effort. I didn't have ganas, how we say it in Spanish, the drive. But then they start thinking, you don't love me anymore. You don't want me anymore. And then that kicks into like, no, I love you. But if you love me too, you will never understand what my body's going through right now. And I think that's the hard conversation that we just don't know how to have with our partners. They will never be in our bodies. They will never be in our shoes.
Yeah.
So they see us like maybe even like, oh, she's exaggerating. And we're not exaggerating. We're listening to our bodies. We just can't. We can't.
Yeah. And so you can say like, hey, this is off the table, right? For whatever reason, like this is off the table. What are some other ways that I can help you see that like I still love you, I still find you to be attractive? And it's that like we think that there's only one way of doing things, and like I won't get raunchy here, but use your imagination. Like you can watch while somebody pleasures themselves, right? Like there are other things you can do to be sexual short of having intercourse with each other.
You don't have to have sexual intercourse.
No. What was that?
You don't have to have sexual
The hand
intercourse
gesture
to
right there,
feel
Amelia.
pleasure.
You don't have to have. Yeah.
Correct.
It's all in the hand.
True. Don't they say it's all mental? It's all mental, really.
Yeah, that our biggest sex organ is the one between our ears.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it is.
Is it for women? Is it all mental for women? Is that how it is? For men, it's more physical, but for women, it's
We're
It's that
emotional.
connection. It's that emotional connection. I think that's what it is. That gives you the best orgasm.
I mean, and part of it is like, is that science or is this how we're socialized? Because remember where we started, you all were talking about like going to the movie theater and watching 50 Shades of Grey, right? Like that.
why were we going, right?
What's like the one thing that we should look out for as women that are feeling to fulfill more of that our sex drive? What can we take away from your book? The sex you want.
Oh gosh, one thing.
One thing.
Okay, two.
All right. Okay.
Three.
If there's like, go out and buy this thing, buy some lube, friends. Just have it.
For him.
Yeah.
For you.
For everyone.
For us.
Yeah. Have you ever tried giving a hand job without lube? It's not fun. Okay. Anyway, I won't get too raunchy. A product that I recommend for folks, if you're just looking for like one new thing to bring into the bedroom that isn't scary, it doesn't involve you going to a sex shop, like a sleep mask, the kind that they give you on airplanes.
I have those.
Right?
Just wear them.
Just, hey, let's try this.
Hide and seek.
It can be like, I mean, I wasn't even going to go that far. I think maybe you should be given the recommendation.
You know what? I used to do that when I was a newlywed. I
Really?
should regain that exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, I talk about it on my book as well. How we
love
used to
it.
play hide and seek in our first home, 2 stories.
That's hot.
It was really hot. The stories will remain to myself, like
Yes.
Janet, very reserved. I'll keep something for me. But I should consider, now that my girls are teenagers and they have their outings, that wouldn't be a bad idea at
Yes.
this age, 50, play hide and seek.
So if you
send
and
them
I-
on the WhatsApp text.
If you and I were in a session right now and you said exactly what you said, I'd be like, all right, get your phone out. You're going to send a text to your partner right now and be like, hey, do you want to play hide and seek?
RG, do it. Do it, RG.
Oh, yes.
Rena, talk to me, baby.
All right. So,
Rena, she said throw her under the bus. Say, we have a guest
I am going
on.
to text my husband right now.
yes.
What do I say?
Okay. So do you know a time like when your teens are going to be out?
8:30.
Oh, so like tonight. Yeah. Hey, you know what might be fun to try? Want to play hide and seek after the girls or after the kids are gone?
Hey, baby.
It's working. Guys, do not call RG tonight, okay? Do not call
It's
RG
working.
tonight.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb.
Yes.
Do you want to play hide? Let's see what he says.
Yeah.
All right.
He's gonna say, "Are you okay?"
And I'm going to put a little devil. You know the little devil?
Yes,
emoji?
little devil emoji.
Yep. You can throw a flame in there for good night. Oh,
It's sent.
it's sent. It's
All
sent.
right. Make sure it was just to Omar and not a group text.
love it.
I wonder
Hide
what the
and
reply is
seek.
going to be.
Oh
though.
my
That's
God.
funny.
I cannot wait to hear.
Are the bubbles? Are there any bubbles
we
yet?
haven't. The only reason why I say this is because we have not done this since we were married.
And
So I want to see how he reacts.
Many years.
How fun.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm nervous too. What if he ignores me right now?
Okay, so basically we can't stop recording until you get a response.
Exactly. So we're gonna, let's see. I got to remove the do not disturb. So
that's
let's
right.
So we
keep
hear
on
the
talking.
ding.
Hopefully he won't ignore. Hopefully the girls don't pick up the phone. Sometimes he leaves the phone on the island.
Oh no.
I mean, it's.
You didn't say anything
Speaking
dirty.
of raunchy, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty tame.
Yeah.
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 He hasn't answered.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it right here.
All right.
taking it
They
out.
probably already listened to episode 3, girls. So
Trying to figure that one out.
Who's next? Who else can I challenge
I
to
know.
take out their phone?
Challenge
and do
on all of them. Challenge for everyone. Come on,
well,
Reena.
what are you gonna challenge
A
me
challenge
with?
for Janet, for Dee, and for me.
Mine's too new. There's no.
She's like, I
There's
don't
no
need
surprise.
challenges.
There's no surprise.
Everything
there.
is a surprise.
yeah.
See that the
Like date
newness
night.
of a relationship is that you're getting to know the person. You don't
Yeah.
know everything about them, even their fantasies, their kinks, what they like. So it's super exciting, right?
Yes.
When you've been married for many, many years,
Yes.
it just kind of like, oh gosh.
Or even you
again.
mentioned to me the other day, like,
Yeah.
when people are in relationships for after even like a couple of years, not
Yeah.
even like 10, 20 years, we're talking
No,
like
it could
3
be
or
3.
4 years, it becomes
Normally.
very routine.
Very routine.
And
Yes.
kind of boring.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I asked her. Wait.
What do you say?
What?
He put yay, and then he put a happy face and said, "So what's the plan?"
What's the plan?
I'm telling you, Reena, men are always ready. Men are always ready.
And that's fun. I mean,
love
this is
it.
play, right?
Oh, he's still typing.
He wants to really solidify that, right?
Oh, he wants to lock it.
Yeah, Can we get
Yes.
this signed in blood.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm gonna.
Now you're committed.
I love
Now you're
it.
committed. You're committed, comadre.
He's like, wait, what's going on? Are
See,
you?
I knew that. I go,
But then again, he remembered. He knows that we're taping.
Yeah.
So
but it's
hopefully,
okay. That's a good
Carlitos-
thing. That's a good thing.
Carlito, no le digas nada, Omar. Eh? Are you telling our stories on your podcast?
No.
He knows me too well.
No.
He's like,
So
are you?
well.
No, I'm teasing him. I'm
just
gonna have to give it
blame
to
it
him
on
now.
this pink-haired girl we got in studio.
You got to
right
do
now.
it. You got to do it.
No, mi amor, I'm gonna deliver. Okay, I promise.
So that brings me to the next
Accountability
question.
text.
He knows you so well,
Yeah,
right? So
he
we can
knows me.
almost guess what what's she up to. So this is where the element of surprise has to come in. You disarm him.
Yeah.
See, that's where I think the excitement comes in, is that they get to know us so well, right?
Sí.
That you're going to do something so different that you've probably never done before, but you're going to go through the whole thing. He's going to be like, what just happened? Wow. Possibly, right?
Yes. We hope so.
So get away from the norm.
Yes.
Do something completely different that you know he will enjoy.
Yeah.
And just surprise the shit out of him.
Yeah. And it can also be like, hey, after you put the kids to sleep tonight, I'm going to be waiting in the bedroom and I want you to come in and take me.
Yes.
Like,
Like the-
and just texting that.
Yeah.
Like, text it now.
Yes.
But I love that. I love that. You know, just rekindling that fun side of us, that fun side of us when we were young. But how to regain that youthful vibe at 50, at 60
right.
even. I hear
Yeah.
sex at 60 is hot too.
I keep hearing that.
You know?
Think about it. Like,
So I look forward to that.
sex is one of the few ways we get to play as grown-ups. And it's like we've forgotten that because we have so much, tension wrapped up in it. It can be a source of conflict for some couples if there's mismatched libidos. But like, this is fun. Like, this is meant to be fun. It's meant to be play. It's meant to be an escape from the to-do list. Not an item on the to-do list. And I think,
Not a
you
chore.
have-
Yes,
Yeah, you're not
not
going to
a
enjoy sex
chore.
if you view it as a
Totally.
chore. But also, you're not going to crave bad sex. No one craves boring sex. You are not going to crave a 7-Eleven ham sandwich.
Yeah.
You are not going to crave boring sex.
Right.
So sometimes it's up to you to be like, yeah, okay, clearly I'm not craving the thing that's on offer because it's not that interesting. How can I make it more interesting? I actually have on my website, it's like a 10-minute audio lesson called the Sex Drive Reset, where I walk you through a thought exercise on how to do that. It's free. If anyone wants to check that out, it's at renamartine.com. But yeah, what is the thing that you crave? And then tapping into what that is.
I love that. So I really love this conversation. I feel like we can go for hours, but I really love that you helped us see that it's never too late to spark
Never.
that little fire, right? To reclaim our desires and to realize that it's never too late to feel sexy again, right? And that sex is not a necessity or a chore or a luxury. It's a right.
Yes.
It's a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift.
And also very
Our
healthy.
bodies were made
You know
to
what?
feel pleasure.
Because trust me, when we finally go through it, we feel alive. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm alive. I'm
Yes.
vibrating. I'm sweating through these pores. That's a sign that I got
The
it. I still got it.
endorphins. Yeah. And the endorphins you get afterwards.
It keeps you
benefits?
younger. I heard
Ooh,
it
the
keeps you
glow.
younger. Happier.
Yes.
Those
Happier
orgasms,
overall.
they're really good for you. If you're listening to this right now and you can, like once you're done listening, go and just
Yes,
like,
don't fake them
take
anymore.
care of yourself real quick on your own.
Do
like
not
literally.
fake orgasms.
Take your multivitamin.
Yes.
vitamin. What do you call it?
Oh, vitamin D. Yeah, but even if there's not a vitamin D in the house, that's what she's
Take
saying.
care of yourself.
Take
Yeah.
care of yourself.
Go for the other D, huh?
I mean, it's like saying I only drink water when I'm like parched and really, really dehydrated. Like, make self-pleasure a part of your daily practice or weekly practice. You know?
Self-pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You call it, you talk about pleasure a lot in this book.
Yeah.
So, okay.
We don't have to depend on other people to bring us pleasure. You can bring yourself a lot of pleasure too.
I think that's the most important thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Girls, any questions you
think
have?
we
Any other
nailed it,
doubts?
yeah.
Let's take advantage of Miss, Reena here,
Yes.
who has all the answers.
Well, I'll probably ask questions off air.
Oh.
But definitely we should tell all our viewers and our
Yes.
subscribers and our listeners to submit questions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, and
Please
you
do.
can answer those questions.
Yeah.
On our YouTube account or
Yes.
or IG. That'd be amazing.
So where can they follow you?
Yeah, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram. That's probably where you're most likely to get a nice response from me because TikTok is freaking brutal.
Oh, man. I can't.
So Instagram's a good place. And then my website is renamartine.com.
And we're going to link your book to our socials.
Wonderful. You can get the book in paperback wherever you buy your books. There's an audio book if you're not sick of the sound of my voice yet. And there's an ebook available too.
Love
wonderful.
it.
That's great.
The book is great. I've already, I just got it yesterday online, and I've already almost finished it.
That is awesome.
That's how good it is.
Okay. Ooh, I can't wait.
Like she says,
Thank you.
we all
Thank you.
deserve great sex. So there it is.
And yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Thank you
Cheers
for
to
being
great
here
sex.
with us.
Yeah.
So
Yes, thank you for having me.
You
This
know,
is so
thank you so
fun.
much for just opening up this conversation, especially for prudes like me, you know, and other women who have these questions that don't feel comfortable speaking about them out loud. And hopefully back at home, you know, where you are, you do go to your partners or you go to your friends and maybe you ask those questions that have been brewing, you know,
That's
in your
right.
mind that you don't necessarily speak out loud.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank
Yes.
Thank you, Reena.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Reena.
Reena.
Cheers.
Stay
Cheers,
bold
Reena.
and stay
Thank you.
sexy.
Stay
Sexy.
So love you.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see your reviews and hear your thoughts. You can also follow Comadres Unfiltered on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more updates. New episodes every Tuesday. Until next time, comadritas.